What if everything you've ever wanted to create followed the same 3 steps? A business, a relationship, a healthy body, a book, more confidence, more peace. Over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to share the 3 principles that I believe are at the heart of all creation. Not because they're magical, but because they're practical. And here's where we're going. Step 1 is receiving the seed. How to recognize an idea worth nurturing instead of dismissing. Step 2 is become the person, not through forcing or hustling, but by making one decision that changes everything. Step 3 is allow. How to stop blocking the very opportunities you've been asking for and begin receiving what life is already bringing towards you. But today, we're beginning with the seed because nothing can grow until something is first planted. But first, before we get into it, don't just watch this video, practice it. Transformation doesn't happen because you hear a new idea. It happens because you live it. And this is exactly what this video is about. Now, what if I told you that almost every great idea you've ever had never failed? It was simply abandoned too soon. Think about it. How many times have you felt inspired only to dismiss it a few moments later? I can never do that. Someone else is already doing it. It's probably silly. I'm not ready. What if that idea wasn't random? What if it was a seed? And what if your only job wasn't to force it to grow, but simply to stop throwing it away? Today, I'd like to share the first step of creation, not manifestation, creation. Because everything you've ever admired, every business, every invention, every book, every work of art began exactly the same way, as an invisible seed. Imagine you're walking through a forest and you look down, and in the palm of your hand sits a tiny acorn. It's small, ordinary. You could easily overlook it, but hidden inside that little seed is an entire oak tree. Not half of one, not the possibility of one. The whole blueprint already exists within it. It simply hasn't unfolded yet. Ideas are exactly the same before they become visible. They arrive quietly, a thought, a feeling, a whisper. I'd love to write that book. I wonder if I could start that business. I think there's a better way. Most people dismiss those thoughts before they've even had a chance to take root. And then years later they say, I wish I'd done that. But perhaps the problem wasn't that the seed wasn't good. Perhaps it simply wasn't nurtured. Neville Goddard once said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I've always loved that because he isn't telling us to pretend. He's inviting us to begin treating the invisible as though it matters. Just as a gardener waters a seed long before seeing a flower, here's something I've noticed. Some people only believe in what they can see, but every gardener knows the most important work happens underground. The seed doesn't look like it's growing, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. The roots come first, not the flower. And perhaps that's true of us too. When you receive an idea, your first responsibility isn't to figure out how. It's simply to protect it, to nourish it, to believe that something is happening, even if no one else can see it yet. So here's today's practice. Now, let's make this practical because ideas don't change lives. Applied ideas do. I'd like you to do something over the next 7 days. So this is step 1. Carry a notebook with you or open the Notes app on your phone. Every time an idea comes to you, write it down immediately. No matter how small, no judging, no planning, no explaining, simply receive it. Step 2. At the end of each day, choose just one idea. Ask yourself one question. What is it about this idea that excites me? Not Can I do it? Not will it work? Simply, what part of this lights me up? Because excitement is often the language of intuition. And here's step 3. Spend 5 quiet minutes imagining that idea already growing. Don't worry about the details. Simply sit with it, like watering a seed. Not forcing, not digging it up every 5 minutes to see if it's working. Simply trusting that something invisible is beginning to take shape. The rose, earlier this week we spoke about watching a rose bloom. Remember, you can't force a petal open. If you try, you destroy the flower. Growth has its own rhythm. Ideas do too. Your job isn't to pull. Your job is to nourish. And before we leave today, I'd like to ask yourself 3 questions. What idea have you been ignoring? What can I nurture today? Who do I choose to become because I received this seed? Because here's what I believe. Every meaningful change begins long before anyone else can see it. It begins the moment you stop dismissing the quiet whisper within you. Perhaps that whisper isn't interrupting your life. Perhaps it's inviting you home. If this message resonates with you, I'd love to hear about one seed you've been carrying. Share it in the comments. You never know. The idea you've almost abandoned may be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you're beginning to sense that there's something within you waiting to unfold, I'd love to invite you to a complimentary breakthrough call. Sometimes one conversation is all it takes to recognize the seed you've been overlooking. So until next time, protect your ideas, nurture what has been placed within you. And remember, every mighty oak was once a seed that someone believed in before anyone else could see it.